We will now consider some applications of Gauss law. The first case we will consider is the charged insulating sphere. So this is a sphere that has a radius a, and it's completely charged. So it has total charge Q on it, and it has a uniform charge density rho. So this charge is uniformly distributed over the volume of the sphere. So this is an insulating object with a uniform charge distribution, charge density rho, which would be equal to the total charge Q divided by the volume of the sphere, 4/3 pi a cube. All right, so that's the uniform charge density. Now we want to know the electric field due to this charge distribution for radial distances less than a. That would correspond to this Gaussian sphere 2 here. So this has a radius r less than a. And then we can have another case, r greater than a. That would be Gaussian sphere 1. So this would be at a radial distance r that's greater than the radius of the sphere a. So let's first consider Gaussian sphere 1, which is r greater than a. Okay, so if I write Gauss law, the total electrical flux for a closed surface is dot product of electric field with the area vector dA. That's charge enclosed divided by epsilon 0. What is the charge enclosed by this sphere? It's total charge Q, so this would be equal to total charge Q divided by epsilon 0, permittivity of free space. Now at this point I note that electric field due to a charge distribution only varies radially, a uniform charge distribution, radially in space. So electric field is only a function of r, the radial distance from the position of the center. And furthermore, if I look at area vectors here, so if I consider, for example, this area vector for this element here, if I consider an area vector dA, the electric field at that point, so this has to be radially outward, so let's do this again. It's going to be pointing radially outward for this area element dA. The electric field at that point would be parallel to the electric field. Electric field, the area vector. So electric field is only a function of r and parallel to the area vector. So electric field is parallel to dA. What does that mean? The dot product electric field dot dA vector is simply equal to the product of the magnitudes EdA, because I have cosine of 0 is equal to 1. And at the same time, I know that electric field magnitude is a constant at the surface of this Gaussian sphere 1, because it's only a function of r. So that allows me to write the total electrical flux E dot dA for the closed surface as the dot product becomes EdA. The electric field is a constant on this surface, so it comes out of the integral. This becomes E integral closed surface integral dA. That is the total area of this Gaussian spherical surface. So that would be E times 4 pi r squared, which is equal to charge enclosed Q divided by epsilon 0, permittivity of free space. So this implies that the electric field for r greater than a is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon 0 r squared in r hat direction, parallel to the area vector dA, which is pointing radially outward. Now, if I consider the second case, r less than a, that's Gaussian sphere 2 here, I will have the charge enclosed by this sphere that would be less than q, and I have to use this charge density to figure out how much charge is enclosed by this sphere. So the charge enclosed is the charge inside the Gaussian sphere 2. That's charge density, uniform charge density rho, multiplied by the area, charge per volume, times the volume of the sphere, 4/3 pi r cube. So the density is total charge q divided by 4/3 pi a cube. That's the uniform charge density, multiplied by 4/3 pi r cube. Now I have 4/3 pi canceling out, and this gives me, for the charge enclosed, q, capital Q, times r cube over a cube. Okay, now if I write the closed surface integral E dot dA, the total flux through this Gaussian sphere 2, once again the same arguments apply here. The dA vector is pointing radially outward, so this would be my dA vector pointing radially outward, and the electric field is also pointing radially outward, so electric field would be parallel to the dA vector. This is the electric field. So I can write this as EdA, cosine 0 is 1. And once again, the electric field is only a function of r, so it would be a constant on this surface. So it's E integral dA, which is E times 4 pi r square. That is equal to charge enclosed q in divided by epsilon 0 according to Gauss law. So if I continue here for the total flux, E dot dA through this closed surface is due to the charge enclosed by this surface, q r cube over epsilon 0 a cube. And this gives me E times 4 pi r square, that's the flux, is equal to q times r cube over epsilon 0 a cube. R square gets rid of this cube, so this becomes an r. Therefore, I find that the electric field for r less than a is equal to 1 over 4 pi epsilon 0 is k, so it's Coulomb's constant k, kqr divided by a cube in r hat direction. So in other words, this is also equal to kq over r square r hat, which is basically the same thing as the electric field due to a point charge of charge capital Q. Now here I have kqr over a cube r hat. Now you can see that when I go from the center to the surface of this sphere, the electric field is increasing linearly with distance from the center. So that's kq over a cube r, that's linear increase. And then when I go outside, it decreases as 1 over r squared. So we reach the maximum electric field at the surface, which is kq over a square. So this r is equal to a gives us kq over a square, which is also kq over a square, you can see here. So they agree at this point. And after that, this drops off as 1 over r squared. Okay, so we have gone through the first application of Gauss law, that's charged insulating sphere. It's a spherical, which has a spherical Gaussian surface. So we have a uniform charge distribution. Charge density rho is Q divided by 4/3 pi a cube, volume of the sphere. We consider two Gaussian spheres, Gaussian sphere 1 for r greater than a and Gaussian sphere 2 for r less than a. If we write the total flux through these closed surfaces, we can use Gauss law. Now for Gaussian sphere 1, which is the sphere outside, the E dot dA integral, closed surface integral, is charge enclosed, which is Q divided by epsilon 0, permittivity of free space. For the left hand side, we have electric field parallel to dA vector. E dot dA is E dA, and E is only a function of r, so it's a constant at the surface. It comes out of the integral. So this is E times 4 pi r square is equal to Q over epsilon 0. Writing Gauss law here, we have Q over 4 pi epsilon 0 r square r hat, or KQ over r square r hat for r greater than a as our answer. For r less than a, Gaussian sphere 2, we have this sphere which has a radius less than a. Now you can see that in this case, the charge enclosed by this sphere is charge density rho, charge per volume, multiplied by the volume of this sphere, 4/3 pi r cube, gives us qr cube over a cube. The left hand side is the same. E dot dA gives integral, gives us E times 4 pi r square is Q in over epsilon 0. Q in has changed now to QR cube over a cube. So QR cube over a cube divided by epsilon 0. So this gives us an electric field for r less than a, KQR over a cube r hat. Electric field increases linearly with distance from the center until we reach the surface, and after that point it decreases as 1 over r square.